Okay, you ready to do this fucking thing or what?
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Welcome to the Beer, Rum, and Rock and Roll podcast. Saving rock, one conversation at a time. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on Apple, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Welcome to the Beer, Rum, and Rock and Roll podcast. I'm your host, Randy Legault, and back for his fifth, count 'em kids, fifth appearance on the podcast. Please welcome the man, the myth, the legend. It's Todd Dammit Kerns, everybody. Woo!
5 times? Really?
Fuck yeah, dude. You know what you need, man? I need to get you one of those 5-Timers Club dinner jackets to wear.
This is a real missed opportunity, Randy.
Right?
I need a jacket. Well, you're in Calgary, so I figured Bret Hart should make an appearance.
Totally. What's happening, man? How are you? How's everything in the Dammit universe these days? Everything cool? You're batching it, you said, hey? You're batching it this weekend.
I'm actually in the house. Well, I would like to call it alone, but there are 6 cats running around at all times. So,
right.
But that's part of my my existence. There's a lot of concern. Are you okay over there? I'm going, they're cats. You feed them and they sleep a lot of the time, and then they cause chaos, and then they sleep again. Yeah,
right. They're looking at you like, what are you doing here?
they literally don't think of me as the caregiver. They think of me as the guy who pets and plays, but they'll be like, so when's mom coming to feed us or whatever? And I'll be like, no, that's my job now. I'll be doing that.
Aren't you hitting the road soon? Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you here? Yeah. Mostly. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, last time I saw you, just before Christmas, my brother Blair and I went to see you do your acoustic thing at this Langdon Firehouse just outside of Calgary. That was a fun night, man. Cool venue. I've been to a couple times.
That was really fun. Yeah. That was a really cool place. I really enjoyed it. I mean, a lot of people have been sort of recommending it to me, and I had never heard of Langdon, Alberta. It just felt like Calgary, really. But
that was your first time?
Yeah, no, I'd never been out there before, so
okay.
I was kind of didn't know what to expect. Those acoustic shows are a lot of fun. As you saw, there's a structure, but it can go way off the rails at any given moment, and sometimes in the best possible ways. To me, in a lot of the best ways, because a lot of the time you're doing shows that are very structured, and here's the opening song, and this is the closing song, and everything is sort of on track throughout it. And then there's sometimes what I enjoy, and when I do full band solo shows, is it's a little bit unhinged, and it's a little bit sort of, kind of anything goes. And because I'm such a creature of just playing music, it's sort of like I happen to know, or kind of know, a lot of material. So when someone yells out, Cyndi Lauper, anything can happen, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, that's part of the fun of it, isn't it? Really. I mean, and I got to say, I'm going to blow a little smoke, man. So fucking watch out.
Uh-oh.
Not every musician can get up on the stage like that. Just your voice, an acoustic guitar, and some tunes, and fully entertain a crowd like that, man. So good on you. It's an impressive thing, I think.
Well, I appreciate that. I got to be honest, it was like 1997, 98, which between you and I, that doesn't sound that long ago, but there's a lot of people who are going, God damn, that's a long time. I was just saying the other day how I only just recently got accustomed to thinking 10 years ago, the 90s, it's like, no, that's a lot longer than 10 years ago. So I was just at home one day in Vancouver when I used to live up there, and Kevin Kane from the Grapes of Wrath, he's now in the Northern Pikes. I'm dropping names. Be careful.
Hello.
Canadian names. He calls and he goes, hey, we're doing this acoustic thing. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like fun. And I hang up the phone, and I remember thinking, I've never done this before. What the hell did I just agree to? The idea of standing up there. I've been playing in rock bands, loud amps, loud drums. It's like,
sure.
Even if you're being heckled, you largely can't hear them. So it's kind of like...
there's nowhere to hide, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly you go up there without a net. My brother Ryan just did an acoustic thing in Kelowna. He lives out there, so he's been doing Johnny Cash and Tom Petty and all these things that he loves. And he said he had a blast doing it. He goes, I was really taken aback by how much you can hear the audience. And I go, oh yeah, that's one of the first things you want to tell anybody going up there. Probably stand-up comedians too. There's probably a prevailing attention, but there is sort of in a music setting, there's no matter what, there's going to be like, I talked to Bob at work today and he said that, just an average, just kind of like that kind of thing. So it's just a slight murmuring going on. So as you're playing music, you can kind of hear hubbub just of human beings being in a room together. So as long as you're not rattled by that.
How dare you not be fully focused on me?
Excuse me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing a song up here. Yeah. Oh
yeah, you can't be like that because it's like, unless someone's being a complete lunatic, but in that case, you probably should. Don't engage the lunatic anyway. It's a whole other animal. It's a whole other skill set in the old Swiss Army knife of, what I do. Yeah.
And it's a good one, man. And having Reed up there, man,
that.
I know you guys have known each other for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. Him coming off and on. You guys are like an old married couple. You started inside jokes and shit. That was awesome. Yeah.
Reed is, and I always say this, I always say one of the most, but he might be the most talented guy I know because he's one of those guys that it kind of doesn't matter what you're going to do. Like we talked about it. We didn't really rehearse anything. We just sort of said, well, just come up when you want it. Because if you don't know anything, just feel free to walk. You'd be like, I'm out of here. Kind of like, I don't know that song. and I'm like, yeah, just go if you don't know it. But the thing about Reed is that he sort of knows everything, probably more than me. He's not really a singer per se, so he doesn't really have that covered. But, he's an incredible musician and an incredible guitar player, like one of the best in the biz, period. When I say one of the best, one of the most underrated, like he should be in a world class. I really feel like that's still coming. The weird thing is people say all the time, like, you've done this and you've done that. And I'm still one of those people who's still going like, you never know what next year is. You know what I mean? Like no one told me last year that this Triumph thing and stuff like that is all like, what? Every year seems to be some new, weird, wonderful, but weird, thing that you just could not have planned for. It just kind of happens. Yeah.
Totally, man. Okay, before we get to Triumph, Todd, tell me about this Ikons of Rock show you're involved with. Like, tell me all about that, because I know very little about it. I know it's a tribute-style show with guys imitating Alice Cooper and Vince Neil and this kind of stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So it's my intention was to take January off. Last year I was traveling so much, like literally Kazakhstan, like places that people don't normally go. And I was like, I am the only person I know who's ever been to Kazakhstan, I was constantly in international airports and running across airports to catch my connection, that whole thing. So the whole year was just so wild that I said, I remember we played New Year's, Toque played New Year's in Winnipeg, and we're flying home. We get as far as Edmonton and the flight cancels. So we stay the night in Edmonton and go home the next day. But that was sort of the last nail in the coffin of like, that's it. I'm not leaving my house. Well, I leave my house, but suddenly I'm Howard Hughes.
Suddenly you're pissing in jars and shit.
Yeah, it's not quite that far. But I was kind of like, I just want to try and stay home. So even that, like when NAMM came up, I love NAMM and I love going, but I was just kind of like, you know what? Because of Icons, I was like, I'm just going to stay. So anyway, what ended up happening was I was like, I'm taking January off. I don't care. And then, of course, Fitz has been involved in producing this sort of tribute show, and Fitz was playing drums in it. And our friend Stacey Blades from LA Guns is playing guitar in it. And a bunch of different singers come up and they do all these things. It's kind of like I've never played with Joan Jett or Ozzy or Alice Cooper, but I get to kind of do that and go like, hey, this will be like scratching that itch of like, I always wanted to play in all of these bands, but I never got to. So basically what it was I was sort of like, look, I'm not going anywhere. And they go, well, we're doing this. And I go, well, what's the set list? And they send over the set list. And I go, yeah, I know all of this. So it was kind of, yeah.
Done.
So it just became kind of like, yeah, okay. So I drive 20 minutes over there and then 20 minutes home after the show. So it's one of those things where it's just a lot of fun. I've been playing it at the Hard Rock on the Strip off and on for a long time. Raiding the Rock Vault was there up until last year before it closed. And then they just sort of fired that up. And I was like, okay, yeah, it sounds like fun. I know all the staff. I walk in there and it's like, hey, and everybody knows me. And I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm going, I'm playing in this thing. No way.
So you guys are like the house band then, and people just come in and out? Is it that kind of thing?
Yeah. There's a backing band, like, guitar, drums, and bass. And then, it starts with Paul Stanley, well, not actually Paul Stanley, but a guy, and then it's Vince Neil, and then it's Ann Wilson, and a lot of it is, as much as it's kind of healthy to take breaks, I'm one of those people who just sort of likes to be, well, not busy is not the right word, because I already know the material, and there's that sort of part of my brain is kind of engaged, but just having something to look forward to, like, I got to go do such and such tomorrow night, and and it just feels good to get up on a stage and look at faces and do what we do, you know.
Well, I was going to say, you're born to be on stage. That's fucking obvious. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. It's, you know, there is something to be said about, like, because you look at, like, in the OG recording world where a band would step away for a number of years to make a record, and you'd be like, they'd come back with new haircuts, and
yeah, right.
I don't really have that, even though, like, you know, playing in a show like this in Las Vegas is essentially under the wire to some degree. Like, it's like I'm not in a public setting, although I suppose social media has changed a lot of that, where it's kind of like, you know, you're perpetually doing something, you know. But yeah, I just like to kind of be busy. I like to be doing stuff, and I, like usual, I enjoy the company of these people. I always find all it takes is that one bad apple to make it like, I'm not doing this anymore because I can't stand that person. I'm a very easygoing guy and generally get along with a lot of people. So it's a fun one, though. You should come.
Yeah, I should, Matt. So are you playing bass, and do you used to get to flex the vocal muscles at all, or are you just playing bass and that's it? Or
just playing bass. Like, people keep going like, well, why aren't you singing? And I go, because I don't want to dress up as Ozzy Osbourne. You know, it's kind of like,
oh my God, no, this I want to see.
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of like, these guys are very good at being those people. I'm terrible at it. I'm just kind of like me. So I'll just go up there and play bass and sing all the harmonies and, you know, stay sharp that way. It's basically all I kind of want to do.
Maybe you could sell them on that. I'm Todd Kerns. And then you go out and...
Yeah, right. It's like, you know, Ozzy, Alice Cooper, remote control for some reason. And then, like, you know, it's like, what the hell is this? A bunch of Americans going, what the hell is this?
What the fuck, yeah.
Who is that guy?
Okay, man, let's talk Triumph. Before we dive into this fucking big news, I'm so excited by this.
With your Triumph shirt on.
Oh, fuck yeah. Come on. I have a t-shirt for every occasion, Todd. You know that.
I love it. I love it.
Were you a huge fan as a young man? That's what I want to know.
Of course. And the thing is, going around the world like we do, they find out you're from Canada. It's always Rush, Triumph are the first two. After that, it becomes kind of a wild card of take your pick.
Yeah.
Killer Dwarfs,
Totally.
you know, it could be anything. And you'd be like, yeah, exactly. It's a bizarre one in that it's an omnipresent experience. The music of Triumph, it was around our whole lives, you know, so
right.
It was almost a little bit annoying because I remember looking at the live footage, and Rick would be like, good looking blonde, singing ridiculously, playing a double neck and just playing like better than anybody, and then writing songs like that. And I was like, what's this guy's deal? Like, what?
Fuck this guy. Yeah.
Like, leave something for the rest of us, for God's sake. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a force. Yeah.
He was just a complete package. And then, okay, the drummer's singing this one. You're like, what?
Yeah.
And he's ridiculous too. So it's like, now we're in this position where guys like me and Phil X, who are both screaming our heads off kind of singers, find ourselves in this position where 70-something-year-old men are like, you know, within their, I suppose, limitations. I mean, they're the most kindly Canadian guys of like, yeah, you should do this. Like, we did that thing in Edmonton last year where we went and it was game 2 of the playoffs between the Panthers and the Oilers. It was like I was sitting in my room like this, going over music for whatever, a Toque show, I think. And it's like, hey, what are you doing Tuesday? Like one of those kind of random, like, why? What's going on here? Do you need me to help you bury a body? What's happening? You know, but it's Phil X, right? And he's like, Triumph, lay it on the line, Edmonton. And I'm like, whoa, what? You know, the whole thing was just bananas. And I go,
right.
It had been sort of touched upon in the past where Phil had reached out and said, look, Gil is very, very, very passionate about trying to get some sort of Triumph thing kind of happening. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, what does that mean? You know, because the thing you learn about Gil Moore is that nobody is more like, we're going to do this, you know, and you're like, okay, but I think the entire career of Triumph was him doing that. And we're going to blow shit up and we're going to have big lights and
go big or go home. Yeah.
He took a little band from Mississauga and blew them up into a world, you know, an international monster. And anyway, so I touched on it with Phil a little bit, just talking about like how this would work and what we would do and the level of their involvement. Because at that time, it was very unclear, other than Mike's health. Like I say all the time, I go, the day Mike gets better, I'm out of a gig. You know, it's kind of like, it's like, I'll be on stage rocking out and I'll get a tap on the shoulder like, oh, sorry, Mr. Levine. And I'll just kind of step aside. Gladly, though, I'll be honest with you, I'll be like so thrilled that, oh my God, Mike Levine's here. You know?
Hand in your hockey jersey. You're fucking out of here.
Go sit on the bench. What an honor. Shove down the bench on a Triumph second line. And then when this Edmonton thing came up, it was sort of like Lay It on the Line had become kind of a, I don't know if it was TSN or what it was, ESPN.
Sportsnet, man. It was on every commercial break, you'd hear it.
Exactly. So it started to get some love, and they were like, wouldn't it be great if you guys could do that? And okay. So we went up, and then it ballooned into Allied Forces and Fight the Good Fight. Even Magic Power was talked about, but I think Phil X was like, no, that's enough. I'm drowning in information here. Because it was very last minute. And then the funniest thing was having Rick go like, you know, just kind of, why don't you sing Fight the Good Fight? And I'm like, what? You're Rick Emmett. You should sing this song. And he's kind of like, yeah, I don't like singing it in the original key. It's really hard. So I go, well, we'll knock it down. I mean, I think people would rather see Rick Emmett sing it in whatever key, you know. He's not a puck hog. You know, he's definitely he's gonna pass the puck. He's gonna it's all about like the team is gonna win, not about like he needs to get the glory. But you know, so the fact that he just said, "No, you sound great doing it. That'd be great." And I go, "Okay." The next thing I know, I'm singing "Fight the Good Fight," which is, you know, amongst one of the most important songs in their catalog. So you know, I just hoped people were okay with that. So it was a really, really crazy, magical night. And as these things happen, whether you're talking about Styx or REO Speedwagon or Foreigner and all these bands that have been around forever, their catalogs are so vast and deep, and it becomes more about the music than anything else, you know. But having Rick and Gil there and us really pushing to be like, well, not just us, but I mean the whole idea of like, if Mike could be there, he would be there straight up. I would just hand him the bass and be like, I want to see that too, you know. But it's one of those situations where something has sort of happened and arisen, and he's just not in a position to do it. So it's like, you can either just not do it or go ahead and sort of celebrate the 50th anniversary of a legendary band and hopefully do it with some class, you know. And I think having Phil and Fitz and me, class may not be the right word for those three, but, but we'll do our best to put a nice shine on things, you know.
Well, not everybody knows this necessarily, but Phil X was in Triumph back in the day. On that last album, he replaced Rick, so...
He was just a kid, too, so it would have been a very, very big pair of shoes to fill. But, of course, he's been in Richie Sambora's shoes for...
Those are pretty big shoes, yeah.
Those are big shoes, too, yeah.
Hey, I don't want to keep going back, but did you see them live back in the day, or are you gigging all the time?
You know, I never saw them live back in the day. It's another one of those bands that just got away from me. Like I just kind of missed a lot of that stuff, especially back then, because I was always traveling and always touring and always doing stuff.
That's what I thought you were going to say, yeah. I saw Allied Forces tour, man. I just wanted to get that in there, you see. You know who was opening, Todd? Harlequin? Do you remember Rabbit with one beat?
Yes. Yeah.
It was one of the first concerts I ever saw, right after Fair Warning. I love to keep saying that, too.
Was that at, like, the Corral?
That's the Corral, you bet.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that sounds like a Corral show. Yeah, we did jam with Rick at remember that Flame Central or whatever it was called downtown?
It's called the Palace now, yeah.
Oh, okay. We played down there for a Juno party, and we had like 1 million people get up and jam, but it was like Billy Duffy from the Cult was there that night for some reason, and
Reed was involved with that one, was he
Reed
not?
was there, me and
Yeah,
Fitz
yeah.
and Reed, a couple guys from Default, just a bunch of guys floating in and out, and then Rick Emmett just out of nowhere. It's like, hey, Rick Emmett's here. And we're like, whoa. And he got up and did like Rocky Mountain Way. And he was just kind of like the coolest guy. And we were like, wow, what a trip. And then
Todd, Reed's, when I talk to him about it, he brings it up once in a while. He goes, the funniest part was there's a delay when Rick got up there because they were having trouble getting his guitar strap high enough. Because whoever had it before was its way down. He's like way up here. So it's like, oh,
yeah, probably Reed or me or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The land of giant guitar straps.
If it was you, it'd be at his fucking ankles, yeah.
Triumph 50th Anniversary Live. The Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded Tour. Special guest, April Wine. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Okay, yeah, so like you said, the big announcement, you're heading out with Triumph. Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded Tour, 26 shows. Begins April 10th in Orlando, Florida. Ends June 6th in Boston. This is a big deal, man. It's the first time they've toured in 30 years. And the first time they played together since 2008. So this is a big fucking deal. So you alluded to that gig, the NHL gig. Was that the catalyst to get this thing going? That was the seed?
I think so. I think the interesting thing is that the dynamic between Gil and Rick is so interesting. Because as you know, they didn't play together for a giant chunk of time in there. So I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but it's fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
It's interesting to see how that all works because Rick is so music. Like, he really doesn't care about all this stuff. He just cares about music, which I truly appreciate. So as far as all this goes, as far as a musical director goes, Rick is very much in the driver's seat of like, what about this? What about that? You know, so in witnessing it in real time, that Gil had sort of ideas, you know what I mean? But Rick came in, feet on the ground, playing with these guys and said, you know what? This could work. And I think that was sort of the revelation that he thought in that moment that this could work with these guys. You know, I think like anything else, there was a lot of elements, whether it was Mike Levine or maybe having to drop keys and things like that because of how, well, my thing's kind of like, well, why did you have to sing so ridiculously high in the first place?
Oh my God, did he ever?
Dude, it's
unreal.
Like, me and Phil will often talk and be like, dude, how are we going to do this? I go, I don't know. I have no idea. I keep saying, like, maybe we can get, like, kind of like you have your microphone, you have, like, two things spraying helium in my face the entire time.
Like that US Festival footage is insane, his vocal.
They are, like, at the peak of their ability on that performance. I kind of went back to watch it because, you know, I go through the material all the time, but I thought, I'm going to watch the US Festival just to kind of see the difference in these live arrangements. And it was so imposing. Like, it was so like, oh, my God. I can't do that. I can't do what any of these guys are doing. Like I say, I mean, Rick was like Peter Frampton handsome and like, you know, Steve Howe guitar player. And the songs are just every one of them is a banger.
And working that stage, like he's running.
Yeah. Piss and vinegar. But it's really inspiring at the same time. There's times where you'll go and see somebody and you just feel like, I'm inspired and yet on the verge of retirement. Just kind of feel, you're kind of like,
what am I doing?
Yeah, what I think I play music. I don't know what the hell I'm doing compared to what that guy's doing. But I think that's part of the beauty of being Canadian, as we are, and having something like this bubbling up is really one of the most exciting things. The fact that Russia's getting ready to go out too is just like, is so cool that like we've got this resurgence. These people are heroes. It's a finite amount of time we have to celebrate this music and celebrate these people. So I think Gil, who seems as youthful as ever, he's aware that the music lives on. The music is immortal. You know what I mean? It really, truly is. And it's sort of like, we're going to lose Ozzy, we're going to lose Ace Frehley, but those songs will be all, like 10 years from now, those songs will just bubble up in new forms, or someone's going to cover Mama, I'm Coming Home or something like that. And we're going to be like, God damn, this thing, you know, it's just lives on, you know. It's just the nature of it. I mean, John Lennon's been gone longer than he was alive, you know, and it's like,
that's right.
And it just makes your head hurt when you start to think about it, you know.
Now, Todd, when this tour first started getting talked about, there was some confusion out there online, right? Fans are wondering what this thing's going to be. And in their defense, there was some misleading shit coming out from the Triumph camp, right? Like I remember reading this. The band will feature a touring lineup of 6 people consisting of a 3-person core band, plus the 3 original members who will make limited, virtual, and potentially is the weird word here, in-person appearances.
Potentially, yeah.
Mixed reality tour holograms. So people are like, what the fuck? So can you clear this up? When that fucking curtain drops, what am I going to be looking at on stage?
I feel the same way, because when I read that, I go, this is not what we were talking about. Like, I think that me and Phil and Fitz would have been silly to agree to, like, so we're going to go out and call ourselves Triumph, and then there's going to be, like, a video of, like, you know, it's like that would just be, like, you know, leading ourselves to the slaughter. But no, it's Rick and Gil will be there the entire time. And like I said, if Mike was in better shape, he'd be there too. The true cynics will be like, well, then they shouldn't go out. I am such a purist that way too. You know me, it's like I wanted Ace and Peter till the day I died. You know, it's just the nature of it.
That's right.
I still love Tommy and I still love Eric, but I just kind of like, you know, that's who I am. But it is what it is. And it's sort of one of those things where these guys will be a part of the show the entire show. And it really is kind of the most interesting thing is that, like, Rick always sort of like, he has this retired hockey player kind of thing. Like, if you ever play with any retired sports person, and they'll be like in their 70s, and they still make you look like you're standing still. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You're like,
totally.
You're like, Jesus Christ! I go, you know, because you've never played with anybody, you know, who's the real deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what Rick Emmett sort of has, this sort of like very humble sort of take on, well, I do it like this now, or I do that. And I go, dude, when you do it like that, it's mind-boggling, or it's like, you know, it's like, I don't think you understand how incredible that is, you know. So I think sometimes, because of the nature of time passing and whatnot, regardless of whichever singer we're talking about, I'm sure I'll fall on the same sword myself, that at a certain point, you're just unable to. I'm sure Michael Jordan will still blow my mind, but he's not going to be, you know, 96 Michael Jordan. It's just sort of the nature of time passing. But Rick's going to go out there and absolutely slaughter, because that's just, he's incapable of doing any less. Gil's going to do his thing. The idea of bringing in a second drummer was such an interesting conversation, because I was kind of like, I was like anybody else going like, well, why? You know, but I think that, you know, when you look at the Eagles or a bunch of bands like that, that's a big part of the thing now, is that there's sort of like an augmenting, like I go to see Bon Jovi, I go, who are all these people?
That's a lot of ways to split the check. Yeah,
I know. I went and saw The Who. I didn't really think about it because I'm a fan and I've been around it my whole life. But I remember when there was 4 guys on stage.
Right.
I saw them on one of the Quadrophenia things where there was like a whole mess of people back there. And then I saw them here at the MGM, which was incredible. Roger was 81 and crushing it. I was like, damn, dude. Yeah, there was like, you know, Simon Townsend, 2 keyboard players. Simon Townsend's the second guitar player, Pete's little brother. You know, so there's 2 keyboard players. There's a lot of extra stuff going on up there. And I always look at like The Who live at Leeds or Led Zeppelin, Song Remains the Same, where you would kind of hear the live recordings versus the studio recordings, which actually, to Triumph's credit, watching that US Festival thing is pretty mind-boggling, that there's a lot of production happening on the recordings, but when they play live, there's such an energy, and Rick in particular is so good at bouncing around, like there's a harmony thing going on here, but he's just one man, and there's, you know, rhythm guitar happening back there that's not there because he's on. So, but it totally works, probably in a lot of ways better than the other bands I was talking about. But I love hearing the Tommy record by The Who and all the stuff and the harmonies and all the strings and then I'd watch or hear the live recording of just 4 guys as a rock band just crushing it, and I go, that sounds awesome to me. And now we live in a day and age where, because you can, you will. You know, I mean, people will just go, oh, we don't have that vocal track or someone singing that vocal, so we'll just put it on track and the keyboards and the strings, and that has become sort of industry standard, and it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I also kind of totally get it. And Triumph, you know, those guys at that age, they aren't as like sort of open to the idea of, you know, we're going to put everything on track. You know, it's like, that's just not how they roll. they'd rather bring in other people and kind of augment it to build it up and make it what they would like it to be. Maybe what they've always wanted it to be, really. I don't know. They always had another guitar player. They had Rick Santers back in the day.
That's right.
Well, where is Rick Santers? That's a question I'm going to be asking. That guy was incredibly talented, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was going to say, I can get pretty precious about how many original members are there. Like, I've got a line there. It depends on the band where I'm like, eh. But this is different because the guys are there. And if you want to augment that with other musicians like yourself, I'm all good.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So are we looking at, I apologize if I'm getting too into the weeds here, Todd, but that's just the way I think. Is there 2 drum kits on stage then? Is that what we're talking about? Okay, cool. Like fucking Allman Brothers, man, or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny when you bring that up because it's like, I'm as sort of like, as much as I'm a part of the program, there's still so much being kind of like, well, what if we did this? And what if we did that? And hey, what about this? And I'm like,
right.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So as far as that department goes, it's like, Fitz is obviously more than capable of playing in any band. Gil's also a singer, as you know, too. So maybe there's going to be a little bit more, as years have gone by, maybe there's more of a challenge of, this thing, going on with all that, because, singing and playing. But I know that, when I talk about Don Henley, there's a second drummer up there with them, and Henley's like one of my favorite drummers. So it's kind of like, or Phil Collins for that matter, when they would do Genesis, or even in a solo thing.
Yeah, like would Gil come out just singing? I mean, that's a possibility too, I would imagine.
Everything's kind of like in talks now, which is kind of the fun part about it. So who knows? Right. I don't know if he's going to come out like, I get him one of those Bob Barker mics, hey.
The Showcase Showdown, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just assuming Fitz will be playing some keys too then when he's not drumming?
And Fitz is going to play keys, yeah. There's a lot of that going on. So the three of us sort of, can get around on a lot of stuff if we decide to kind of go there. But it's going to be a show. Like, that's the one thing. I live in Las Vegas. The Sphere is such a big deal these days. But I'm always kind of like, I still kind of think to myself, there was nothing more exciting to me than being a kid and walking into some dirty place and seeing a band playing over there in the corner, and that sort of like the effect they had on me just watching these guys play music. So I kind of like, I wish that people could kind of experience that, because I believe that to be true. And I believe that doesn't have to be just because I'm a musician that I felt that. I think there's a lot of people who go and see a band and there's just a sort of power and energy that comes off of 3, 4, 5 guys just playing together and putting that out to the world. But when you start kind of relying upon, as a Kiss fan, it sounds really hypocritical for me to say.
I was going to say, as a Kiss fan, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm one of those guys that I loved Kiss's music and I loved Kiss's playing.
Me
the
too.
Fire and the blood and the stuff was always kind of like, the cherry on top. But
it's gravy, man. It's gravy.
Yeah. But now it's kind of like, nothing irks me more than the, like, I don't even really like this band, but the Sphere thing was awesome. And I go, you're going to drop, like, I don't even know what tickets are for that, to go and watch some band you don't even care about, whether it's the Eagles or U2 or whoever, just so you can go look at these visuals. I go, I don't get that. It's kind of like, I am such a music, quote unquote, purist. I don't want to go see an artist I don't want to see anyway. But Triumph has been known for their show. They've always had the show of shows. I don't think they're talking about, from what I've seen, a throwback to like old school park hands and like that kind of thing. No, it's like, it's kind of like taking the technology of today and turning that into a mega multimedia type show. In working with Slash all these years, who was kind of like, put up a backdrop, we're going to play, we don't give a shit. And I love that about him, the punk rock kind of like, we don't need screens and nonsense, even though Guns has all that stuff, But Slash just doesn't, he's just always like, it's about the music, and I appreciate that. So with Triumph, I think this will be the biggest show I've ever been a part of, just because of all this stuff,
Well, I don't want to keep going back to the US Festival, but to their credit, there's no fucking show there.
No.
So it's gravy again. They can do it without it. So
100%. I mean, musically, there was never a question.
Yeah.
But I think that in a world where you're competing with Kiss and everybody else back then, especially, that they had to kind of get in the game. And I just know Gil well enough to know that, like with Paul Dexter, the show designer and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be state of the art. And I've never really been like in a position where we're going to go rehearse in an arena because we have all this stuff. And I go, rehearse in an arena? Like that's like some grown-up shit.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
rehearsals started? Are you rehearsing in an arena yet? Is this happening? Like, is that
No,
what
we
you're
don't
doing?
start till I don't know, maybe a month or two. I'm not really quite sure. But a lot of right now is all woodshedding and deciding what key is this going to be in and what tuning is that going to be and what's this and arrangements. Have a look at this arrangement from this suite in 2008 or whenever it was, and have a look at this. So there's a lot of that conversation about like, because I like to get ahead of things. I like to walk into rehearsal knowing everything. I'm just one of those guys.
You're a fucking pro, man.
Well, I try to be. I mean, I hate walking into rehearsals and being like, wait, oh, this is in that key? You know, it happens because sometimes communication can be nuts. And there's a lot of expectation as far as like, you know, Rick is so much more advanced than anybody I've ever worked with as far as like his theory and all that kind of stuff. So when he's talking, you're kind of like, okay, let's dumb that down. You're like a ninja and I'm a street fighter. You know, it's like, I don't know what we're talking about here. So you want me to punch there and then kick there?
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
I can do that. Yeah.
I was disappointed to hear. I saw him in some interview because I'm curious what guitars he's going to be playing. And he unloaded a couple of his classic OG fucking guitars. Saying he goes, this one put my kid through university, and this one, like that Jan Ackerman from Us Festival, he got rid of that one.
I know.
And I think
I
that
know.
original double neck he got rid of. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, because I wanted to be playing that white Dean V. You gotta lend him yours. That's what I want, at least for one song.
I have a feeling that may make an appearance. I don't know exactly how that works, but I mean, that's the thing about a guy like Rick. He's another one of those guys, kind of like, well, I was going to say Steve Stevens, although Steve's, you know, a different kind of guitar player. But there's a whole flamenco thing that Steve does, and you're like, whoa, what's going on over here? Like, what?
Oh yeah.
And then with Rick, it's like the classical stuff will just blow your mind. You're like, oh shit, okay, well, you know, it's like he knows exactly what's going on. So
He's the real deal.
he's got to have a double neck. I think the white one might be going out, the Gibson. So
The weight is a factor there. Fuck, those things aren't light.
weighs
Yeah.
as much as he does, I think.
Exactly. Now I'm sure you're still hammering this out, but you got that? Is that set list getting hammered out, or?
Yeah,
You
it's a
know-
continual. I mean, there's obviously like, you know, I mean, you and I could probably just bounce back and forth on like the obvious songs that have to be
Sure.
played. And then there's trying to keep it interesting. And it's also the 50th anniversary. So trying to
Yeah.
do a bit more of the scope, you know what I mean? I'm saying? So, you know how it is with these things. It's kind of like you can't make all the people happy all the time. You can use that if you want. I just made that up just now.
I'm gonna clip that.
yeah.
Well, you're right. You're right. When you have a catalog, well, let's keep mentioning Kiss. I mean, yeah, same problem, right? You got to play to the whole arena. You can't be, I want deep cuts, and I'm probably not going to get them, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it.
As a Kiss fan, you walk out, I can't believe they didn't play, you know, Keep Me Coming or whatever. And you'd be like, dude, they're not going to play Keep Me Coming. You know what I'm saying?
Is this a new song? I don't know this one. Yeah.
And then when you talk to Paul about it, to him, it just seems so obvious that, well, we have to play to the general audience. They would once in a while bust out something, and it would just see the audience kind of like me over there in the corner going, no way. You know? And then a whole audience of like, when are they going to play something? You know, and I understand that because I'm assuming if I go and see the Eagles or any other heritage act, Foreigner, you know, any of these bands that have like a list of like hits, they got to play the hits. You got to play the hits. Yeah, it's like Cheap Trick is another example of like, I'm a deep cut fan, but I understand when I go and see them, I'm going to hear I Want You to Want Me and Dream Police. And, you know, it's sort of the surrender. It's the nature of the show. And I kind of wouldn't expect it any other way.
You know who's great at that, Todd, I think, is Aerosmith. I have to suffer through Don't Want to Miss a Thing, but they'll give me Seasons of Wither. Like, they really do a good job with their set list, I think.
You're not wrong about that. They do Nobody's Fault or something like that will suddenly make an appearance and you'll be like, oh, shit, okay. But, you know, I think those guys also have a certain degree of like, they're not pulling out Don't Miss a Thing to play that. They know that they've got to kind of cover all the bases and then like serve up the little palate cleanser every now and then of like one of those. Yeah. And I'm assuming when you're asking people to come to a show, especially in this day and age, for how much tickets cost, that they are a fan of the band. And I'm hoping that after 30 years of not seeing the band live, that a new version of it or a new presentation of it with some of your favorite songs played hopefully very, very well. Well, I say hopefully. I mean, like, hopefully they appreciate the amount of energy and attention to detail we put into it. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Like that, I can only say that it's going to be like one of the greatest things I've ever been a part of, period. But at the same time, I can't go around the arena and talk to every single person. What are you expecting this evening? Okay,
Yeah.
And then go to the next person. Well, that's different than what he expects. Okay, that's interesting. And then it's like you kind of have to just go like, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be fucking awesome. And then like,
where was my phone call? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's kind of almost what it feels like. One of the things I appreciate about Kiss is it's kind of like, I think there was definitely periods where they tried and they feel like they just kind of went, you know what, this is what it is. You take it or you leave it. You're welcome to not come. But I really feel like it's like, when you're throwing a party, which I think a concert is, it's kind of like, come to the party. We got chips and dip and a couple beers. It's not like you go to the party and go, dude, I can't believe you don't have any Cavassier here. It's like, what? If you want any specialty shit, bring it yourself.
With you guys involved, I am not worried one fucking bit. It's going to be the greatest 6-piece power trio of all time.
There you go.
I mean, you've seen this, I'm sure. There's a clip on YouTube. It's from last year's Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, and it's Rick and Phil X.
I was there.
That's all you have to see.
Yeah.
This thing is going to be killer with you guys in there.
Yeah. And that's just Rick and Phil. That's not even Gil or anybody. Yeah.
On the line. Yeah. Lay it on the line, baby. Lay it on the line. Don't waste my time.
That was quite a night, my friend. I was a guest of Triumph. I just happened to be in Toronto. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come check this out. And it was like Andy Kim, Ian Thomas, Gino Vanelli,
Wow.
Jane Siberry were all being inducted. And it was like, whoa, I kind of was like really unfamiliar with what I was walking into. And it's like Tom Cochran's presenting and Ed from the Bare Naked Ladies. So it was like, oh, wow. I was like, and of course I ran into Andy Kern from Coney Hatch there. He's the greatest.
I just interviewed him recently, and not to toot my own horn, but I've done videos for those award shows, hey? Like, they do the sizzle reel before somebody comes out.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's great. Because you kind of need those. But it was really fun, and there's no speed limit on Phil X. It's kind of like all or nothing, yeah.
Oh, my God, he just killed it. And you could totally see that Rick was energized by him.
Yeah.
Like, it was like watching young Rick. He's doing the little sticking his tongue out and stuff. You're like, what is happening? This is awesome.
A lot of people would be kind of like, that's kind of weird. It'd be kind of like Ace Frehley and Tommy Thayer playing together or something like that. And I go, yeah, but Rick has a totally different a skill set than what Phil does in a way. Like, Phil is, in a lot of ways, just as qualified musically, but there's also that sort of, as Rick calls him, a fire-breathing dragon over there. And I go, that's about it. Yeah, he's very technically proficient as a guitar player, but he's also just a wild, like, that energy is just, he's just capable of almost anything. He's an animal. He could play with anybody, That alone just takes the whole show up like a million notches just by having like, oh, those two guys are playing guitar together? Oh, God, I can only imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome, man. Yeah, so congratulations on it, man. I just think it's going to be really cool.
Thank you.
I'm a huge Triumph fan, and I cannot wait to see this thing. Like, it's going to be awesome.
I'm like you in that I can tend to be a little bit of a purist, but I think I've come around in a lot of ways. I will say I went and saw Foreigner many times. I know the guys in the band. Jeff Pilson's one of my favorite people in the world. And I would often go kind of going like, as you're driving to the show, going like, you're having that moment in your head going like, well, it's not even Lou. Lou is the fucking greatest, man. No Lou Gramm. Fuck this. And then you walk in and Kelly Hansen just comes out and crushes it. And you're like, or like Arnell from Journey. You're like, it blows your mind that there's somebody this good doing this. And then there's this moment where you have this realization that you're telling yourself, this music is so important that I'm glad it's still being shared at this high a quality. And I think that's what it comes down to, is as long as the quality is there, it's the most important thing, that the music lives on. And, that conversation now with Skinnerd and Trooper is our Canadian version. But I think that they're, like I was just talking to Reed about that. We both saw Trooper in different scenarios throughout the summers in Canada and just going, I'm sorry, but I think it's fucking great. And I've seen Trooper 100 times with Ray and Smitty, but now seeing them with Paul, who I think is an amazing singer, And I'm going like, they do the faithful renditions of the songs and tribute and loving homage to a band. Makes you kind of go like, there's something special about that in a way, because I don't think anybody really expected there to be, none of us expected to be having these conversations in our 70s, though you and I aren't there yet. That like, how are we supposed to do this? And physically, you know, not everybody's going to be Mick Jagger. You know, not everybody's going to be 80 years old running around, or Rick Springfield with our shirts off at 75 years old.
Crazy, yeah.
And, you know, some people are going to be a regular 75-year-old man who's like, nope, that's it for me.
Tap it out. Well, I look at it like it's a sanctioned kick-ass tribute band.
Exactly.
And if you're not into that, don't go. And if you are, go. Like, I remember a few years ago, back to Foreigner. I love Foreigner. I love those early albums. Like, I fucking love them.
Sure.
And Mick was still involved.
Yeah.
So you had one guy. And they played the Grey Eagle. And my sister, it was her birthday. She goes, I want to go. I'm like, I'm not going to that. You know, I'm all, But guess what happened? I went. So she talked me into it. And just to your point, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everybody, but I get it. There they are. Those songs are loud. They're awesome. And everybody in there had a smile on their face. And that was the end of it.
Yeah, it's sort of the equivalent of going like, there's never going to be a James Bond like Sean Connery. I refuse to watch any of these movies. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking? You haven't seen like Casino Royale is fucking incredible. What are you, crazy? Look, I get it, because I have been a Kiss fan. And Kiss has challenged our loyalty.
Oh, boy.
Time and again. Yet we're still there. I'm still there, man. I'm still like, you know, okay, well, what's next? What are we doing next here?
That's
like,
putting it mildly. Oh, my God.
You know, it's like...
I do a lot of mental gymnastics with that band. Holy shit.
But we all do it. That's sort of the nature of... You know, it's the same as like a cast on a show or anything else. And there's going to be an audience that are very pure about what it has to be. And then there are people who, like you say, you look around... feels like the first time. And it's like, and you're going, that person's having the time of their life. They don't care. They probably don't even know who Lou Graham is.
They don't. I know. Which makes me sad, though.
It makes me sad. Because I'm one of those guys like you who was looking at the album credits.
Oh, yeah. And Lou is an underrated vocalist. I think he's incredible. Oh.
He's one of the all-time greatest. And he's still fantastic. I've seen him a number of times. He's going out this year with them, I understand.
Good for him.
With Lewis singing, yeah. So that'll be very interesting. Yeah.
Well, if you're into him, he just released from back in the day some shit that didn't get released, and it's pretty strong. Like, I kind of skimmed through it. Yeah.
I was a fan of his solo stuff. You know, I'm just, you know.
Oh, me too.
I'm a music guy. Like, I have friends that play in a version of the Babies. I'm a huge John Waits fan, but he's not there. And my other friend, another John, sings in that. And I'm like, it's fucking great. I'm sorry. It's like, you know. Well, the other option is that it just doesn't exist and we don't get to hear that music. I think a lot of it is just as I'm getting older, I'm less and less precious about these kind of things. You know, like I say, I'm the one with the target on my back because I'm going out there in Mike Levine's hockey jersey, basically. Yeah.
How dare you?
Exactly, yeah. And I'm expecting there to be somebody who's like, who is this fucking giant girly man standing in Mike Levine's position? Yeah.
You have similar hair. You got that going.
Well, yeah, we both have long hair. I mean, and the thing is, Mike is an absolute hero of mine, as I think he is to everybody, because he was just the most like down to earth, like rock and roll Canadian dude. The guy went on fucking Jeopardy, dude. Like, not even rock and roll Jeopardy. He went on Jeopardy.
I don't remember that. That's awesome.
You got to look online. Is it Wheel of Fortune? I think it's Jeopardy. He went on Jeopardy as just a straight up like. And he's like, so you're in a band? You know, like,
oh, it wasn't a celebrity thing. It was just
he was just like, he just went on like as he's just like, I'm into it and I'm gonna go. And I'm like, what a legend.
That's awesome.
But all that kind of stuff, I think it's, you know, everybody lighten up. It's just music.
Right. We've already, we've mentioned Kiss about 20 times so far, but let's really dig in a little bit. I want to know what your experience was like at that landlocked Kiss cruise in Vegas. Like, what was your perspective on it? How did that all shake out for you?
Well, it was a lot of fun. I was still shaking off jet lag from a Kazakhstan, Prague, Italy trip. So I kind of rolled into the pre-party with the Handsome Devils, which is just a throw and go thing that we put together for these cancer charity thing that we do, which always ends up being incredible. I'm like, always like, this is a pretty amazing thing that we just threw together here.
Right.
But it's all based around like the Lick It Up Creatures era We had two from Elder, and then we had one from Animalize.
Out of the cold, into the fire. Out of the cold, into the fire. Just stand up and we'll make it summer. Out of the cold, into the fire. Nothing you know what's stopping me now. Out of the cold, into the fire. Just stand up and we'll make it summer.
So that was fun, but then the Bruce night was huge because we were on the big stage, and your perspective on stage is, and I always say this, is like musicians are the funniest. You'll see them after go, dude, that was great, and every musician always says the same. Oh, thanks, man. It was a crazy night. It was like the monitors were this, and it's always like, dude, shut up. It's kind of like, it's like, and I do it almost I catch myself going like, the monitors, it doesn't matter. So I walk off stage and I go, it was cool. I wish I could have redone this or redone that because that was this and this was that, because that's just the nature of how you are as a musician. But the reaction to it was really positive and really strong. And that makes me really happy because I think Bruce deserves the love that he gets when we do these things, is that there's a constant reminder of how many people who are invested in that chapter.
Yes, he's flying that 80s flag hard, man. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, I apologize for not knowing this, but I know it was Bruce, Fitz on drums, you, of course. I don't know who Joe McGinnis is on bass. Who is that cat?
Joe plays with Chris Jericho's Quarantine.
Oh, okay.
Very, very talented guy. Like, we were just the other day talking about it because Fitz and I are both like staunch Sack Throne supporters. He'll be in some Toque shows this summer and stuff like that. He's like one of our closest friends. But we both objectively just the other day said, Joe did an amazing job at that Landlocked show. I go, yeah, he did. He's an amazing talent, and he's actually a really incredible guitar player, which is really funny. I can't tell you how many times I've been on stage playing. Well, the guy playing bass is a way better guitar player than I am.
Oh my God, not again.
I'm just playing rhythm guitar, going like throwing shapes,
And Singer got up for Domino. That was cool.
And then Eric got up. Yeah, he's always good to go. That's the funniest thing is like, because you just know them as like, people. And then every once in a while you go, I'm on stage with half of the Revenge era Kiss right now. It's like, it's like,
right.
It just kind of makes you go like, this is a trip, man.
I love the deep cuts. You guys did Larger Than Life, and that made me happy.
Oh yeah. You got to do some deep cuts. Actually, most of the set kind of comes off as deep cuts. We did Sword and Stone, which was never even released.
But a Kiss audience at that is going to appreciate that to the max.
Exactly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you dropped in on the Ace Frehley band too, and man, that must have been a tough gig for those guys. Hey, like holy shit,
hard.
Emotions must have been running high.
It was really hard. They were definitely feeling it, and it all felt super surreal. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
And being there, and 15-foot pictures of the band, and a lot of it celebrating the OG band. It's just the nature of the way it goes. But
sure.
The fact that that sort of first crack in the ice of like, oh, we've lost one. Obviously we lost Eric Carr many, many years ago, and Mark St. John and guys like that. But losing one of the OG guys
it was brutal.
It's brutal. And it sort of really is like one of those things that just makes you stop and, I don't know, just kind of like take stock of everything. Like, wow, time flies.
And in my mind, that wasn't the order that was supposed to happen.
You wouldn't think.
You think, oh, Peter, he's the oldest.
But Ace, like Lemmy and like a lot of guys, and Ozzy to some degree too, lived.
Right.
They just took life and just squeezed everything out of it. The fact that they lived as long as they did. Ozzy and Ace are the kind of guys that it would have been tragic, but if you'd heard that they died from whatever in 1985, you'd be like, oh, that sucks, man. But I mean, like, a lot of guys died from a lot less than those guys put themselves through, you know?
High constitution, yeah. And I don't want to make light of it in any way.
No.
But it's pretty ironic how it happened, because he was known for being clumsy and shit, right? I'm like, oh my God, you couldn't write this. It's crazy.
I know.
Right? Falls twice, like, oh my God.
The next 10 to 20 years are going to be brutal. I mean, losing Ace Frehley, losing Ozzy Osbourne was just not something I was prepared for, you know, especially Ace. But I don't think you really ever think about someone like Ozzy, you know, ever being gone in a way. Like, yeah, he's in a chair or whatever, and he's kind of going through whatever he's going through, but there's just no way that anything's going to happen to him, you know. But that's, you know, it's just foolish, you know, on my part to think that that's the way of things, yeah.
That was a serious double whammy, though, him and Ace, like, whoa.
Yeah, it was too close together for, like, you know, for guys like you and me. Those are childhood heroes that are just kind of gone.
Okay, man, I want to talk about Slash a little bit. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but album number 5 is done, in the can, on the shelf, yes?
We just listened to mixes. We just listened to the sequence of the album. So we have that. We have, I probably shouldn't talk about it, but we have a title, but you're never going to hear about that for a long time. Yeah.
Don't tell me anything you shouldn't, but Elvis at the helm again?
Yes. We're very happy to have that team together again. It was a fun experiment to kind of like step out and do other things. And I think you have to do that. I think every band, every artist has to kind of go and try other things here and there. And I think it was really fun to try this and that, but returning to it was very sort of like, you know, well, I've always said it, every time Slash plays me a new riff, I always go, I'll be watching some guy on YouTube play that riff next year. You know, it's like, yeah. It's just like every riff he plays is that iconic, you know what I mean? So
totally.
The record is really strong. There's some really killer songs on it. And it's the weirdest thing, like I say, by the time it comes out in 27, Fitz, Miles, Slash, and I will be playing together for 17 years off and on. And the Conspirators will be around 16 years because, you know, we weren't really called the Conspirators until 2011. So it's just a really weird thing to consider. Like, what it does is it really makes me realize 10 years doesn't seem that long to me anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it flies. Holy shit.
It goes fast, yeah.
I was saying this to Reed last time he was on. You know, there's that gap when you're 20 and your parents are 40. You think, fuck, man, they're old. And then when you're 60, they're 80. That gap seems way tighter.
I know.
Like, I'm going to be that in 20 years? Oh, my God. Like, and it flies by when you have kids and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah.
It's the same as, like, when you see your friend and you go, how old's your kid now? And they go, oh, he's 30. I go, what? That's the only way I know time is changing is based upon, like, people's children getting older. It's like, what? You know.
I got a 14-year-old who's also named Reed. And he's officially taller than I am. Like, he's he can almost kick my ass. Not yet.
That's hilarious.
I go, be careful, because Dad can tap into some anger he doesn't have yet, right? So
exactly. Dad anger.
Exactly. But yeah, it's crazy, dude. Oh,
I love it.
Back to the album. Where'd you record it, Todd?
It was recorded in Florida in Barbarossa Studios, is Elvis's studio. So we recorded it in Orlando. And I guess it was mixed there as well. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Now, was the process the same, like old school, live off the floor and some overdubs?
Yeah, we always play together. You know, the idea is the usual, playing together, trying to capture a drum performance and then replacing. You know, we did it pretty normally. We didn't get too jiggy with this and that. We're always in a constant state of, like, even though we've rehearsed our butts off, we still go in with the idea of, like, well, maybe this, maybe that, you know, oh, well, now that we're playing this, maybe, so there's a kind of constant, like, as we're working on it, it's sort of in a constant state of rearrangement or sort of refinement as we're going along, you know.
Right. Now, 5 albums in, how does it stack up against the other 4? Like, what makes it different? Like, how do you guys try to keep it fresh?
It's interesting that you say that, because I think that there's, you know, something to be said about it being of the flavor that you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like the familiarity of it, but at the same time, there's always going to be something a little different regardless. But there's a couple of times where we get a little bit more fierce than I think we're kind of known for. Like Miles Kennedy can kind of like, oh, he's taking the gloves off on this one. I go, okay, because, you know, he sort of comes from a very sort of not controlled is not the right word, but Alter Bridge has a very sort of like, I don't even know how I could put this in words, but it's so much more musical in a way.
Well, I heard that new album is really fucking heavy, is what I heard.
Yeah, they get really heavy, those guys. Yeah, they get really heavy. Yeah, they've kind of gotten heavier as time's gone by.
Right. This whole schedule works out perfect, right? You guys are doing Triumph, Slash Us Out with Guns most of the year, right? It blows my mind, this is kind of a sidebar, that after how many, 9 years that reunion started, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still playing stadiums. I thought for sure it would go down to arenas because I don't really like stadium shows, to be honest. I'd rather see them in a hockey rink. I cannot believe it with really a handful of new songs, but really, no new album. It's unbelievable.
No, it's really bizarre. Like, it says something about the fact that people who keep saying rock and roll is dead, that it very much is kept alive by the celebration of live music. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2027, you guys are going to hit the road, obviously.
That's cool. The plan. That's the plan. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys missed us last time, so I'm hoping you swing by Western.
We have to. We have to. Yeah. We got to make up for that.
4 didn't really get its due, did it? Really?
No. Well, because of COVID, really. But I mean,
that's right.
I don't think we've been to Canada since before lockdown.
Right.
So that's like 6 years now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, man, we're over an hour. I'll let you go soon. Any other gigs you want to plug? Any solo shit coming up? Any Toque dates coming up? What do you got going?
I got a solo show coming up February 21st at Bootlegger Restaurant. Our friend Ron Mancuso. It's basically our rainbow here. Out back, there's a great room called the Copa Room. So come on out. I'm going to be there that night. I'm doing Icons 3 nights a week when I'm here. And then Triumph, and then Toque in the summer. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm plugging your beer. See this shit?
Ah, fantastic. It's pretty damn good, actually. Yeah,
hey, it tastes just like beer. It's awesome.
And if you drink enough of it, it feels like beer. Yeah.
You guys are taking a little out of the KISS playbook. Non-drinkers selling booze. It's like the old KISS philosophy.
Exactly. Well, non-drinkers who definitely did their fair share. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got you got your scars. You're okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, man. I'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining me, Todd. It's fun as always. Always good to see you.
Big love. Take care out there. See you soon.
Absolutely. Congratulations on all your success, man. All the best with Ikons of Rock.
Thank you.
If you're in Vegas, check it out. And dude, Triumph Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded Tour. Like your inner, I don't know, pick a number, 14-year-old. Like if somebody could have told you you'd be playing in Triumph when you were a kid, like get the fuck out of here.
No, I'd have been like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah,
dude.
No, it's pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm pretty thrilled about it. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Get your tickets now, man. I can't wait. May 8th at the Saddle Dome. I will see you there, my friend. Yeah.
Saddle Dome. Hell yeah.
Thanks to you guys for checking us out. Really appreciate you taking the time to hang with Todd and I. You can find us on all the socials, wherever podcasts are broadcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, give me a solid, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, on behalf of Mr. Todd Dammit Kerns and I, keep rock alive, people. Peace.
Big love.
Elvis has left the building.